Okay, here we go. I'm going to do a quick all around the sewing room, standing in one place. And then, for those of you who couldn't care less if you ever saw my sewing room, you can just turn it off and forget about the detail shots. Okay, this is it. Going around and around. There's the big window that I've closed the blinds because it makes everything look funny. There's the little kitchenette. There's storage. There's file cabinet. And there's Lucy. Okay? So now I'm going to go a little bit slower. Right here on this side is where I keep my dress form from. Oh my gosh, where did I get it from? Oh my, I'll have to walk up close and read it because I can't remember. Oh yes, Fabulous Fit. Fabulous Fit. Had lots of problems with them. And posted on Pattern Review about what an awful time I had with them. But I actually do love the dress form. So that's my dress form. That's my file cabinet where I keep my files, not where I keep my patterns. And there's a bookcase where I keep things like attachments to my sewing machine, all the different kinds of glue, some of the books and manuals, all of my ironing tools. See, here's my ironing tools. The wonderful great big giant ham I got from some lady on the web. Oh my gosh, I'll have to look her name up. She makes them for you and you can choose the fabric and they're really, really nice. All of my embroidery discs that I bought to go with my Bernina, most of which have never seen the embroidery machine. My light box down there when I used to draw designs for quilts. And then right back here is where I keep all my different threads. That's all sewing threads right there. These over here are threads I use for embroidery and for quilting. And then over here is where I keep my rulers. I like to keep my rulers where I can see them. And so in both my sewing rooms, this is a big sewing room. At my other house I have a small sewing room. Both rooms, everything's nailed to the wall. I use used sewing needles. Let me take you a little bit closer. Maybe I can show you. Let me see. Where's a sewing needle holding something up? Here's one right here. See the sewing needle? Can you see up close? Oh my, that's not focusing very well, is it? Hold still, Joy. My gosh, they hammer in so easy. There's one there. Can you tell? They hammer in really, really easy because they're so sharp. And when you pull them out of the wall, they don't even hardly leave a hole. So I love sewing needles. I have lots of rulers on sewing needles. Here I have one whiteboard. This is where I come over and I draw freestyle designs when I'm doing a quilt. I just did the Bowtie Quilt recently, which I'll show you on my blog today. And I came up with a freestyle design for it that worked out really good. Not freestyle. Well, it is freestyle, but it's continuous. It's so you just can do it and not have to lift your needle. Let me see if I can get my finger in here. So here I am sewing up and down. You go up, down, make the heart. Come down, make the ribbon, come back around. Go up, over, make the heart, make your ribbon, go back up the ribbon, up and over, make the heart, make the ribbon, go back up. See, so it's continuous. So that's where I do my designs for when I'm making a quilt. And then in the room I have several of my quilts hanging. That one's called Catch a Falling Star. It was Nancy Barrett's design. My quilting all over it. Some of which I really like, some of which I'm not too crazy about. Over here in this corner, I have just set up, by my daughter's advice, Tammy. Tammy was here, and she said, Mom, you need to turn this whole jewelry table around so it faces the light. So I had the jewelry table facing that corner there where we see my darling little bunny rabbits. And I turned that table around so it's facing the light. And then I moved my jewelry cart in the corner where my table was. And so on my jewelry cart is where I have all of my boxes of beads and my big box of wires and jewelry wire and fishing string. I can't think of what the stuff's called, but things you put beads on. I have now 4 big books I've put together with jewelry designs. I see I've got 2 boxes of my pearls up here. See how I keep my beads all in separate boxes? They're so nice. I guess I was using those earlier. They should be down there on the shelves. And here's Snowball and my other bunny who I never gave a name. They're two of my favorite things. I've had them for 100 years. I just love them. And here's my jewelry making table and my little saddle seat stool and another quilt. This one I call Strawberry Sundae. And here's the table where I work and I make jewelry. And here you can see all of my different jewelry tools. This was a lot of the expense that I put into my jewelry making hobby, was those tools. Some of them are $50, $60. And I'm making some jewelry right now with chain called lariats, and I'll show you a couple of them in a minute. And so I'm working on that right now. And then here I have the things that didn't turn out, or beads that fell on the floor, or beads that were left over and I can't figure out what box they go in. Same thing here. You always end up with beads everywhere. I find them all over the floor and every place. Okay, so that's where I make jewelry. Let me back off and get a big shot of that. Okay, that's the jewelry corner. And then where I just was, where you saw the whiteboard and all the thread, this is my long arm. And remember the Bowtie Quilt? This is the Bowtie Quilt that Jerry's grandma made. We think Jerry's grandma made. I was cleaning out, oh my, I'm covering up the microphone on this. I was cleaning out the house where she and her daughter lived. Her daughter was Jerry's mother. And I found about 6 quilts there. So I'm assuming Granny made them because I know Mom didn't make them. Because she knew I was a quilter, and if she had quilted them, she would have told me about them and showed them to me. So I just got this one done. I'm still sewing the binding on the back of it. But isn't it cute? I just love it. And this is what's called the long arm machine. This is my long arm. I bought it brand new, top of the line, in 2006. So now it's an antique. You can't even extend the warranty on it anymore. My warranty just ran out probably today on this, and they won't let me renew it. So I don't know if I could even sell it. You know, why would somebody want to buy it if it's not warranted? So that's my great big long arm that I do the quilting with, and the table that it comes on. See over there in the back on the left, you can see Lucy in the bookcase where I started. Okay, I'm going to turn around this way again. Slowly, 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 slowly. Bunny rabbits, jewelry, Strawberry Sundae, quilt. And now, here is one of my cutting tables. These cutting tables are absolutely wonderful. They have legs underneath them that you can put in, and then the sides go down. Let me see if I show it to you this way, you can see. See the little swing out leg there, and the swing out leg down there by the trash can? Those both fold into the table, and the table folds down, so the table ends up being just as wide as this inner part, right from here to here is how wide it is when the sides are folded down. Only thing is, for my purposes, it's never folded down, it's always open. Actually, it's supposed to be Philly's table when Philly comes down here to sew for a weekend with me, but so far it's just gathering dust because Philly hasn't been here forever. Oh, and here's my latest projects, which I'll have pictures of on my blog today. Let me see, I don't know how good you can see them on this silly board. There's a dragonfly that I made. And then this is lariat number 1 that I made for one of my sisters. And this is a little bracelet called a bow bracelet that I made. I learned about this one on a YouTube video by a girl called Bio Nerd, I think she calls herself, B-I-O-N-E-R-D. She's a real young, beautiful girl, and she makes jewelry sometimes, and she showed how to make this little bow bracelet. I think it was at Christmas time. I thought it was really cute. And then this necklace here, these beads are really nice. They're shiny, and they're metal. They're not called metal, they're called something, but I don't remember what they are. And my grandson likes to wear necklaces with crosses on them. So I made him this for his birthday, which is just in a few days. And so I'm going to mail that to him. It's kind of a choker length. The little clasp in the back just screws together, and you can't even tell it has a clasp. It's really nice beads. So I sure hope he likes it. Okay. So that's table number 1 or number 2, however you want to look at it. Over here is the table that I really work at all the time. And another one of my quilts. This one's called Roses and Holly, or Holly and Roses, something like that. It was a, oh, what do you call it? Not a mystery quilt really, well sort of a mystery quilt, but on some website that I used to belong to, and I keep covering up the microphone, some website I used to belong to, a lady came up with this quilt and a whole bunch of people signed up to make it with her, and I was the only one that finished it. So I made the whole quilt from scratch and I quilted it. Can you see the roses? Look at that. That's quilting from that long arm over there, these roses that are in it. And behind the roses, see this red back here? The print in this red is rose petals. And so it's got the rose petals here, it's got the roses here, it's got holly leaves on it. See the holly leaf right here? Because, I don't know, it's not really a Christmas quilt or I wouldn't have it hanging up there. Oh, well that's why, because of the holly up in the corners. So that's why I put the holly in it. I guess it is sort of Christmassy, but I don't care. Holly grows all year long. It doesn't have to be Christmassy, does it? Anyway, I'm really proud of this one. I just love the quilting in it. I just think it's so pretty. I spent 1,000 hours doing that. Okay, so next to that quilt is another table, table number 1. And this is the one that I use all the time. Now here at the bottom you can see one big box full of fabric. This is cotton, non-stretch blends, linen look denim, full. Here's another box just like it, completely full of knits. I have many more boxes outside that door. I see that little door right there? That little door goes out into a big attic, and I have lots of boxes of fabric out there. I have boxes of fabric everywhere. Here on the table, you'll notice my SureFit Designs dress that I'm working on. It's a sleeveless dress with pockets. I just made one. I'll show it on my blog today. I call it my pajama dress. You'll see why. And more thread that goes with my embroidery machine. A whole bunch of patterns that most of have never been opened there on the wall. The little door that goes out into the attic. Now here are 2 long tables that I had specially built for this house. Now before we redid this room in the attic, I had a room outside that door. See that door way down there with the clock over it? When you walk outside there, there's a big room out there. It's now our giant movie screen room, or movie theater, or whatever you want to call it. But when we built the house, this was the attic. And when Jerry decided he wanted to have a movie room, we changed this attic into my sewing room. So those 2 tables I had special built to hold my sewing machines. And you can see I have, over here I have the cover stitch machine. Here I have, what is this one? This is a Bernina Virtuosa 155 of mine that I really liked. And we decided that when Philly comes down for a weekend to sew with me that she needed one just like it. So I bought this one recently on eBay. It's also a Virtuosa 155. This is my very first Bernina right here. It's a 930. It has sewn many garments. Then I have another whiteboard here. I am a note taker. I like to write things down. I like to keep track of things. This is where I sit and do my blog every day. That's my computer. This is the cord right here that plugs into this camera in my hand, where I'm going to download all these videos and fix them with Photoshop. Here's the speakers I blogged about one day that my husband bought me. The giant speakers. But oh, they sure are nice. Here is my Elissimo. Oh, I can't even remember what year I bought my Elissimo now. So 5-6 years ago. It's been quite a while. Love it, love it, love it. I also have a 180, a Bernina 180 embroidery machine. Used to have 2 of them, gave one to my sister. I like this Elissimo much better than the Bernina. Now here's 2 of my sergers. I have a 2000 DCE and a 203. At my other house, I have 2 more sergers. Seems to me like I have more sergers than that, but I can't remember where they all are. I have a lot of sergers and a lot of sewing machines. Anyway, back here is the printer and a cabinet where I keep copy paper and picture paper and books that go with different machines. And one lonely little ivy plant and my, what do you call it, a boom box, I guess. And the blinds that look out onto our woods and our pond. And then over here is the little kitchenette that I asked Jerry to put in here for me, because I am the type of person that eats and drinks all day long. And so I love to just be able to go over there and fix myself a drink, open up the cupboard, get a cookie, get some pretzels, get a potato chip, whatever. The drawers are full mostly of sewing tools, quilting tools. This is a pair of socks in case my feet get cold, some napkins, a light to go on one of my sewing machines, and rulers, rulers, rulers. I could hang rulers on every wall in the house if I wanted to. Little round rulers. I need to sell those probably one of these days. Down here, another drawer, some popcorn, some dry erase crayons, which are horrible, don't buy them. And more rulers, rulers, rulers. You know, when I do a hobby, my daughter actually got this gene too. When I decide I'm going to do a hobby, I buy everything in the whole wide world that has to do with that hobby. So I did that with the quilting. I still at least am quilting, and maybe I'll use some of these rulers someday. I don't know. Anyway, cabinets, more storage, and then this one I had special built to hold storage for sewing and quilting. You can see it's just jam-packed full. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Up here's a microwave. And here we are, back to Lucy and Jackie's little chicken. Jackie is usually up here with me chewing on this chicken. You can see she's lost one of her socks. Jackie chewed it off. But Jackie got all muddy yesterday, and so she hasn't been allowed up here. So that's it. One more time around. Oh, the ironing station. Did I show you the ironing board? This is the ironing board. Ironing tools underneath it. The ironing top is usually covered with stains because I use it so much. And this is my new steam machine called Rowenta Pro Precision that I just had to buy because the one I had blew up and fell apart or whatever. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to say goodbye and stop talking. Have a nice day. Bye.